Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decipher the business world. Today we're diving into the latest annual report from NYIAX, a company trying to shake up the advertising industry. This report is a bit like a complicated ad campaign itself, but don't worry, we'll break it down so you can understand what's really going on behind the scenes. Get ready for a financial roller coaster because this one has twists, turns, and maybe a few surprises. NYIAX is correcting a mistake. It turns out that the original location for the company's auditor was wrong, and they needed to fix this with an amendment. But all jokes aside, this filing reveals a lot about the current state of this intriguing company. Let's get to it. NYIAX wants to bring financial platform technology to advertising. Think of it as a marketplace, like a stock exchange, but for ad space. Their goal is to make buying and selling ads more efficient, secure, and transparent. They use something called smart contracts and blockchain to manage the deals, trying to cut out the old manual ways of doing things. NYIAX believes one of their biggest advantage is their end-to-end platform. In simple words, it aims to do it all, see from finding the right ad space to making sure everyone gets paid, all in one place. They also talk about their technology innovation using tools like NASDAQ technology and blockchain. This helps them keep up with changes in the ad world. NYIAX believes their approach improves upon the advertising industry models. Their growth strategy focuses on a few key areas. They want to expand the availability of ad space for sale on their platform, balance the amount of ad space for sale with the needs of ad buyers, and follow the customer demand. They also want to keep up with new types of media for advertising and automating as much as possible with technology. NYIAX has built a platform to connect media sellers and buyers. Think of a typical advertising deal, counterparties to the contract, delivery dates of the campaigns, campaign metrics, pricing, media inventory, and standardized contract terms. NYIAX uses blockchain to record the contract and smart contracts to reconcile campaign results. They also help standardize the contract terms, making everything easier to track and manage. NYIAX has agreements with a few companies like PubMatic and OpenX. These agreements help them connect buyers and sellers on their platform. In 2021, a good chunk of NYIAX's revenue came from PubMatic, OpenX, and Univision. It is worth to mention that revenues are generated from a very small selection of clients. The advertising industry is huge and it's still growing. The filing states advertising spend for 2023 reached over $918 billion, and it is expected to reach almost $1 trillion in 2024. Digital advertising is leading the way, with even bigger increases expected this year. NYIAX faces a lot of competition, but they are also trying to work with existing companies in the industry. That means they need to offer something unique to stand out and win clients. If they don't promote new tools to streamline compliance, their products and services might be harmed. NYIAX is focused on protecting their ideas and technology. They have a patent with NASDAQ related to buying and selling different things electronically with complex contracts, and they own trademarks for the NYIAX name. The joint patent between NASDAQ and NYIAX could enable efficient buy and sell matching through price discovery of complex contracts. NYIAX has to follow laws about privacy and data. That means telling people what kind of information they collect and how they use it. While they say they don't collect personal information, they have privacy policies to protect users. New laws like Europe's GDPR could make things more complicated and costly for them if they work with companies outside of the United States in the future. The government could start regulating online advertising more closely. New rules could make things more expensive or force NYIAX to change how their platform works, potentially preempting state legislation. There's a bill being reviewed, HR 1816, which would allow for the use of non-sensitive data, which does not directly identify the individual. As of August of 2024, NYIAX has only 6 employees and 8 contractors. This means they're a pretty small team, which could make it harder to grow quickly. Of course, NYIAX acknowledges the risks of their undertaking. Here are some scroll. There can be no guarantee that the company will be successful. This scroll, the company needs more money. They don't have enough cash to cover their expenses for the next year. They've been relying on selling stock and borrowing money to stay afloat. If they can't get more funding, they might have to cut back on their plans. They have a history of losses and negative cash flow. This means they're spending more money than they're bringing in. If they don't turn things around, they might not be able to pay back their debts. NYIAX is involved in a lawsuit with some investors claiming fraud, which could distract the team and make it harder to get funding. Also, a former underwriter is claiming that the company owes them money and the company disputes the claims. NYIAX's business could be hurt by major disasters like pandemics or cyber attacks. These events could disrupt their operations and their insurance might not cover all the costs. The war in Ukraine could also cause problems, since NYIAX uses a development company with team members in Russia. Sanctions and other issues could make it harder to work with them. The company has a new CEO and new board members. It takes time for them to get up to speed, and their different views could lead to disagreements. If the new directors don't quickly understand the business, it could affect their ability to make good decisions. They might face pressure to lower their fees, which would hurt their profits, reliance upon other third-party blockchain technologies. NYIAX relies on a small number of customers for most of its revenue. If they lose even one of these customers, it could significantly hurt their business. Demand for advertising can change a lot depending on the economy and other factors. If advertisers cut back on spending, it will be difficult to predict their revenue. The company's revenue can change a lot from quarter to quarter. It depends on the sales team, the overall advertising market, and landing new contracts. The advertising technology industry is constantly changing. NYIAX needs to keep up with new technologies and industry standards to stay competitive. Larger competitors could develop better products or technologies, which could make NYIAX's offerings outdated. Scroll, disrupt, or otherwise negatively impact our business. Scroll. Their technology could be hacked or fail, which would hurt their business. They depend on information technology systems and NASDAQ technology to protect their business, and both of them are vulnerable. Scroll. Limited revenues from the exploitation or commercialization of our intellectual property. Scroll. NYIAX needs to figure out how to make money from their patents. They haven't made much revenue from them so far. A portfolio of patents have a high level of risk due to the age of the patent portfolio and patent expirations. The services offered by NYIAX may be expanded and may trigger regulatory oversight, therefore NYIAX will have to comply. Scroll ITM 7. Management's discussion and analysis of financial condition. Scroll. Now let's look at the numbers. In 2023, NYIAX's revenue decreased by 50% compared to 2022, going from $1.3 million to $656,100. This drop is primarily due to less activity in their sales and marketing. Their goal is to reduce costs for themselves and their clients, to improve efficiency, and to automate with technology. So, NYIAX makes money by charging fees to media sellers when contracts are completed on their platform. Revenue depends upon the media contracts, which is analogous to an insertion order whereby delivery, reconciliation, and billing take place. The revenue decrease was primarily caused by reduction in force from our sales and marketing department. It also depends on several factors, including on our new business development, sales, and representatives team. Technology and development costs also decreased, as the company's technology and development decreased due to decreased development of our platform. Selling, general and administrative costs decreased to $5.4 million from $7.8 million in 2022 as a result of a marked decrease in the sales and marketing staff and administrative costs. For the year ended December 31st, 2023, depreciation and amortization increased due to intellectual property amortization. The company has written off these costs $848,531 during the 3-month period ended March 31st, 2023. Share-based compensation decreased to $580,002 from $2.3 million. Interest and debt expense also decreased as the convertible notes converted to common shares. NYIAX recognizes that they have available federal net operating loss carry forwards. The company will depend on its future taxable income in the next few years. The company generated negative cash used in operating activities of approximately $3.3 million for the 12 months ended December 31st, 2023, and generated negative cash used in operating activities of approximately $5.3 million for the 12 months ended December 31st, 2022. NYIAX believes that it does not have sufficient cash to meet working capital requirements. However, they do plan on selling more convertible notes. NYIAX reports something called adjusted EBITDA, which is a non-GAAP number. It's basically their net loss with a few things taken out like interest, depreciation, and stock compensation. NYIAX is estimating that it would not be profitable until at least 12 months from investing into a substantial sales team. The long-term goal is for NYIAX to develop a sales team, attract media buyers and media sellers, and to grow its business to achieve profitability. The company will need to generate revenues at scale to become profitable. Lastly, there are various business risks associated with NYIAX, including market acceptance and dependence on the key employees. The company is relying on sales of debt. NYIAX admits their internal controls over financial reporting aren't effective. This means there could be errors in their financial statements. They're working to fix these problems, but it's something to keep an eye on. These controls and procedures were not effective at the reasonable assurance level because of the material weaknesses in our internal control over financial reporting. The company identified material weaknesses in the revenue recognition process, expense reimbursement controls, as well as errors over financial reporting, all of which is not ideal. To address these issues, NYIAX is hiring more accounting staff, establishing better separation of duties for cash payments, instituting new policies for expense approvals and payments, and strengthening board oversight. So, what does this all mean? NYIAX is a small company with a big idea trying to bring new technology to the advertising world. But they're facing some serious challenges, including a need for cash, shaky internal controls, and tough competition. On the positive side, the global digital advertising market is seeing growth and the value of the company's intellectual property. One thing that might be a good change is the war on Ukraine. This could make NYIAX to shift development efforts to other resources. As of December 31st, 2023, we are continuing to rate this stock neutral as a show me story. Based on these factors, a reasonable price range for NYIAX shares is roughly $1 to $1.50. In summary, the company is currently fighting an uphill battle, but there is room for improvements and innovation. The rating is neutral given all the factors and can tend towards a bullish scenario with their ability to obtain further investments and cut costs. That's it for today's Corporate Decoder. Be sure to subscribe so we can dissect together and be on top of all the interesting company reports out there. See you in the next one.